Good morning.
First question.
Magandang umaga po, our friends in media.
First question, Tina of GMA 7.
Sir, for everybody po, Senate President Zubiri said yesterday that their discussions on RBH6 is not tied down to any deadline because it is not like an ordinary bill that quote-unquote can be approved without thinking. It needs time and study po. Your reactions po?
Well, magandang umaga. Regarding that question, kasi yung sinabi ni Senate President, meron tayong transcript noon ng press conference niya noong January 15, 2024, and I quote, may nagtanong, like economic provisions, may target date na po ba? Kasi may sinasabi rin na possibly dapat sa zona ni Presidente, may report na niya ito. Ang sagot po ni Senate President, at mayroon akong video, napakasimple lang naman ng amendments na ito. I don't see any problem finishing in this quarter. Before the Holy Week break, I don't see any problem. Kasi tatlo lang naman yung dapat tapos, tatlo lang naman yung tapos, napakasimple. It's otherwise, it's not specific. It's otherwise. So yun ang sinasabi lang ni Senate President. At yun lang ang sinasagot ng House of Representatives. At meron pa silang meeting with the leadership, with the Speaker and the Senate President. And I understand, ito nga, nung nasa Malolos kami, inuulit ko lang, nandun ako with the Speaker, na pag-usapan na lang at tapusin nila kagad by March. So yun ang sinabi namin at yun ang palagi naming sinasabi kasi kailangan nito ng ating Pangulo.
Tama ang sinabi ni SDS Gonzales. Ito pong pinangahawakan at pinaniniwalaan naming mga members of the House of Representatives. Ano po, nagawa namin na yung aming part with regard to resolution of both houses number 6. So, the ball is on the side of the Senate at naniniwala naman kami sa kanilang kapasidad upang talakayin ang napakahalagang panukalang ito. Siyempre, nag-uumpisa na po sa ating Senate President, Ping Subiri, siya na po ang mismo nagbitaw ng salita that before Holy Week ay magagampanan ito. Medyo naninibago lang po kami at nagugulat bakit po all of a sudden meron na banggit si Senator Angara na sa October na po. Alam niyo po, ang katotohanan is kung iyan ay pag-uusapan pa lang natin starting October, ang deliberations, it's like literally killing this bill, unless of course that is the real intent, no? But I'm not one to judge the intentions of our senators. Naniniwala po kami sa House of Representatives sa kanilang binitawang salita. We're not questioning their credibility. And naniniwala rin po kami sa kasabihang, if there's a will, there's a way. Kaya nga nung last press ko namin nila SDS, nila Majority Leader Manix Dalipe, we spoke about the sense of urgency. Dahil talagang napakahalaga po at kinakailangan nito. Meron tayong isang batas na naaantala, yung Public Services Act, na kino-question sa ating Korte Suprema. At hindi po ito may implement kung hindi ho natin ipapasa kaagad ang RBH6 at kaklaruhin natin. Totoo naman po ang sabi ni Senate President Mig Subiri. Napakasimpleng naman po ng mga economic provisions. Very specific. Ano ba? Payag ka ba? Dati nga kami sa House, 7 ang gusto nating sectors. Pero 3 na lang ang gusto nila. O di sige, payag na rin kami. So kung 3 lang yan, much more reason to be expedient and to work with a sense of urgency. Sabi ko namin ulit, if there is a will, there is a way. Kaya let's walk the talk. Yun po ang pananawagan din po namin. Ito po si Majority Leader Manix Dalipe po.
Tsaka, alam mo, in addition, kahapon kasi contradict doon sa statement ni Sen. Migs doon sa hearing nila. So, hindi siya simple. Hindi naman natin approbahan yan without thinking. Tinaas pa niya yung kamay niya. So, meaning to say talagang, kumbaga sa basketball, bearing strategy. I don't know what's that. So, hindi po namin inuutusan yung mga senador. Hindi po namin sila inuutusan. Nagbabase lang po kami dun sa mga sinasabi ng kanilang leader. Bacho,
At gusto ko pong ipaliwanag lang, dahil po ako ay member ng Constitutional Amendment noong 18 Congress. Napasa na po namin ito. Isinabit na po namin ang RBH6 na ito doon sa Senado. Sino ba ang presidente noong 18 Congress namin? Si former President Duterte. At sino ba ang speaker namin noon? Si former Speaker Bilasco. Ibig sabihin, hindi po ito inisyatibo ni Speaker Martin Romualdez. Dahil kung napasa na po namin noong 18 Congress na siya lamang ay isang majority leader, ibig sabihin, paano masasabi na inuutosan ang mga congressman tungkol sa People's Initiative? Pangalawa, nakita naman siguro natin yung statement ng ating speaker. Sinasabi niya, natutuwa siya dahil binuksan na at dinidinig na sa Senado ang RBH6. Ibig sabihin, kung pag-uusapan natin at natutuwa na siya, sana tapos na ang ating mga hindi natin pinagkakaintindihan. But, tulad ng sinasabi po ng ating kasama na si Congressman Dong Gonzales, yung statement po ni Senate President Mig Subiri na sinasabi niya na okay, uumpisahan mo na ito, pero hindi namin pwedeng diktahan, pagsabihan ang aming mga kapasenador para kung kailan matatapos ito ay sana ay inyong maintindihan. Bakit ganon? Bakit may kailangan pang may pahapyaw tayo mga pananalita? Kung talagang kailangan natin ito dahil sa ating bayan, tapusin natin pagkaisahin na ang RBH bill na ito. Ito lang naman ang hinihintay ng taong bayan. Matapos ang argumento tungkol dito, nang sa ganon, ano ba ang both side, Congress and the Senate, ay magkaisa para sa bayan.
We would like to acknowledge the presence of House Majority Leader, Madman Manix Dalito. Sir, thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Comment on. Hindi ko naabutan yung...
So,
Timeline.
Timeline, sir, changing of Senate timeline on the approval of RBH6.
they cannot finish on before Holy Week by October. Siguro.
Well, the timeline was not given by the House of Representatives. We got that timeline during a statement made by the Senate President. And we were so elated and happy that at least with the words of the Senate President issued last January 15, may sinabi siyang first quarter. So masaya po kami. You know, in the House of Representatives, we take our work very seriously by working on it with a sense of urgency. Lahat po ng batas, whether it is the legislative priority of the President or LEDAC priority, SONA priority, we always act with a sense of urgency. Hindi po pwede natin bagalan yan, tutulog-tulog lang tayo at maghihintay yung taong bayan. In fact, if you look at our accomplishments in the SONA priorities, in the LEDAC priorities, no, the members of the House of Representatives work double time. Double time po dito. Nagsasama kami, tatrabaho kami. Tinatapos po yan. Hindi yan sino-shortcut. Lahat po, you know, we invite resource persons. In fact, the resource persons that were invited in the House of Representatives are just the same resource persons that go to the Senate for a particular bill. Pare-pareho lang yan eh. Ang kaso lang, dito sa House of Representatives, we act with a sense of urgency. And when we learned that the Senate President mentioned about the first quarter timeline, sabi namin at last, no, we can be able to, you know, accept it when they transmit it before the Holy Week break. Kasi kailangan natin bilisan. What we are afraid of, ito, diretsuin ko na po, is that the filing of the certificate of candidacy of all officials running for the midterm will be October. Alam naman natin lahat dito sa Pilipinas, pagdating ng October or before October, it is already the campaign season. Campaign fever. So pagbating ng October campaign fever, nagiging busy lahat in their respective, preparation for the midterm election. So, kung busy nga ngayon yung mga ibang legislators, for example sa Senate, medyo busy sila sa kanilang mga investigasyon. Dito sa House, what more when it comes to the campaign fever that will hit before October. So that's why our worry, and we do not want that specific provision or that amendment in the Constitution, be included in the midterm election, mapupolitika na siya eh. So we would want to fast track it. Kung pwede, ngayon na. If they feel, ito sa akin na, if they feel they are having a hard time, we also have the RBH6, which we filed last year. It's there in the Senate. It's the Constitutional Convention. Lahat ng option nandyan na. But we in the House of Representatives, we are pleading to our counterparts in the Senate to really, to move fast on it because we're running against time. For 37 years, ilang House Speaker ang dumaan had been pushing for this. Hindi lang si Speaker Martin Romualdez. The previous Speaker, Speaker Lord Velasco, Speaker Sunny Belmonte, Speaker Bebot Alvarez, kung ano-ano ng Speaker, everybody wants to update the 1987 Constitution. Everybody wants to update and sees the need and urgency to update the 37-year-old Constitution para hindi naman tayo maiwanan ng mga ibang kapitbahay natin dito sa Southeast Asia region. So we have to update and keep up with the fast developing pace of our neighbors.
Sir, what is your response to the parang kasi the senators object to the resolution yesterday that was approved yung 1562. Parang they feel that according to one reaction I saw, parang hindi naman daw yun ang intention talaga ng senator sa ginagawa.
Well, number one, hindi namin gusto ang World War. Basahin ko lang sa kapwa namin mambabatas sa Senado. Inilabas lang ng mga congressmen ang kanilang saloobin sa nangyaring pag-atake sa aming speaker at sa aming institusyon. Pangalawa, sa aming all-member caucus na ginawa last week, grabe talaga ang galit na inilabas ng mga kasama naming mga congressmen. Galit sila sa pamabastos na ginawa ng ilang senador sa aming speaker at sa House of Representatives sa mga sesyon nila at hearing kaugnay sa People's Initiative. Number 3, we in the leadership need to temper the situation all the time. Kaya, ang napagkasunduan po namin ay gumawa at maglabas ng isang House Resolution para ilabas ang collective sentiment bilang isang kapulungan. Pangapat, kailangan naming tumayo bilang isang kapulungan para ipagtanggol ang aming dignidad at sinisira dahil lamang sa maling mga akusasyon ng mga senador sa People's Initiative. Lagi naman kaming sinasabihan ng aming speaker, sabi niya, bukas ang House leadership sa anumang dialogue, sa kailangan kasama ang mga kasama natin sa Senado. We consider them as partners in nation building. Kaya we are shocked sa ginagawa nila sa amin. Number 6, natutuwa po kami sa pagsimula ng deliberasyon ng RBH number 6, kasaysayan ng Pilipinas mula noong 1987, ngayon lamang umupo uli ang Senado para bisitahin ang mga provision nito. Gusto rin naming hindi didikta ang House of Representatives at Senado sa timetable at deadline nila sa deliberation ng RBH number 6. At panghuli, yun sinabi ko nung una, si Senate President, ang sinabi niya mismo, magdagtakda ng deadline sa press con niya na ginawa noong January 15. ang araw na nag-file siya ng RBH number 6. Alam niyo po, masakit po to. Basahin ko lang po na isang senador na sinabi sa amin. Sabi niya, we cannot say na equal ang isang party list representative sa isang senador. Never ilang bang boto ang nakukuha ang pinakamababang senador na yon, Mr. President. 15 million votes, Mr. President. Ang Batanes po, for instance, 6,000 to 7,000 votes lang po. You are a congressman. I don't have anything against Congress again, Mr. President, but can you really compare apples to oranges? Alam niyo po, Robin Padilla garnered for 26.4 million. That is equivalent to 48.8%. That is number 1 senador. Number 2, Lauren Ligarda garnered 24.43 million. That is 43.44%. Mig Subiri got 18.9 million. That is 33.75%. Joel Villanueva, 18.5 million. Number 9 siya, 33.05%. Dito po sa mababang kapulungan o walang mababang kapulungan, this is the House of Representatives. Halos unopposed po yan. Yung mga senador, mataas ang tingin sa aming mga kongresista kasi kami ang pinakakatawan nila dito sa House of the People. Pag kami ang tinira mo, parang tinira mo ang mga tao namin sa baba. Yung mga constituents namin. Kaya alam niyo po, napakasakit po nun. Kaya if you are going to interpolate or extrapolate the numbers you garnered and the numbers we garnered, mas mataas po yung porsyento namin. If you are unopposed, meaning to say, 100% ng buong sinasakupan mo, mahal ka nila at nirerespeto ka nila. You are 12. Parang barangay kagawad. You vote for kapitan, barangay kagawad, SK chairman, SK kagawad. Municipal mayor, vice mayor, sangguniang bayan member. Sila ganyan lang po. Pero ini-explica ko lang po sa inyo. Kaya hindi po kasi na matanggap ng mga kasama namin na kongresista during our majority all members caucus na inilabas nila talaga ang sama ng loob nila sa mga senador.
The SDS, RG, ano ba ang sabi eksakto doon sa statement nila tungkol sa aming resolution?
Can I, RG? Ang sabi nung isa, ano ba talaga ang gusto nila? Ang gusto po namin ay maipasa itong RBH number 6. Napakasimple.
May I ask also, RG, ano pa ang sabi?
Let me just run through the soundbites, ma'am. Senator S.P. Subiri, kung feeling assaulted sila, how? If the committee is just performing its duty, the Committee of Electoral Reforms, we deal on facts. Very clear. The last 2 hearings, the facts have come out. The facts have been coming out, whether it is for or against the topic at hand or the decisions at hand. So be it, we are just
Okay.
facts.
Got it.
Sandali lang po, ma'am. Senator Jinggoy Estrada.
Ah.
Senator Jinggoy Estrada, I don't think we violated interparliamentary courtesy because we have always observed it from the very start. And I think this resolution is an affront to the Senate as an institution. Senator Villanueva, it bothers me that our co-equal house, the House of Representatives, will accuse the Senate of coming up with these so-called attacks.
Okay.
May isang salita ang mga senador, may isang salita hindi natin kailangan ng the fact that we see each other, yung pagkamay natin sa isa't isa, alam na natin, meron na tayong pinagkaisa.
Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't know we were not allowed to feel that way. Sa totoo lang, this rift should not have existed in the first place had we exercised some form or some minimum amount of empathy. Kailan sa kasaysayan ng Kongreso ang isang chamber mag-organize ng isang inquiry tapos ang matatarget yung leader ng isang chamber? Empathy. Bakit hindi natin baliktarin ang sitwasyon? What if we organized a congressional inquiry? Tapos, ang idadawit natin si SP Migsubiri. But of course, we take the higher moral ground and we will never do that. That's unthinkable. Tapos, sasabayan mo pa ng mga insinuations that we engage in illicit and illegal activity. Ano ba yan? Kayo na lang ang tama at kami ang mali? Kayo na lang ang nagmamahal sa bansa at kami hindi? Kayo lang ang defenders of the Constitution at kami gusto namin babuyin ng Constitution? Self-righteous much? No. So a little bit of empathy would have avoided this situation. Now, ako naniniwala, mga kasamaan ko, and I think I speak for other congressmen and congresswomen as well. Ang nag-uusap ng tapat, nagsasama ng maluwag. So if we express through a House resolution ang aming mga sentimiento, ang aming mga damdamin, maybe instead of taking it negatively and starting a word war, maybe we can do a little bit of introspection. That's part of empathy. Suriin natin, itong mga partners natin mahabang panahon na nating katrabaho. Bakit all of a sudden parang aalsa sila? Parang nagagalit sila? Ano kaya ang nagawa natin? There is nothing wrong with a little bit of humility and introspection. Baka naman, maunawaan ninyo na ang frustration na nararamdaman namin, that kami, malinis ang hangarin namin, we're just going about our duties as congressmen and congresswomen, and we have always viewed them as partners, and all of a sudden, magkakaroon ng Senate inquiry. Okay, karapatan nyo yan. Pero yung ganon, bababuyan ng aming leader, sino ba kami hindi magre-react? Sinabi nga rin yata nila na kung gawin sa kanilang presidente yun, ganon din ang kanilang reaction. Tapos, we engage in character assassination. Tapos, meron pang language unbecoming of senators. This is not the way we should do things. A little bit of empathy. Place yourselves in our situation. At hindi lang yan. During our all-members caucus, maraming frustrations ang nailabas namin. Alam niyo ba yung feeling na magtatrabaho ka, gagawa ka ng isang legislative measure, isang panukalang batas, you do your research, you take the time to craft and draft the bill, and then you go through the deliberations. Papakinggan mo lahat with a sense of urgency because kami kasi, we work directly with our constituents at nararamdaman namin, alam mo yung frustration na alam mo na yung solusyon, and yet, syempre, we respect the process. But, knowing that, merong urgency, we work double time and we take it seriously. Hindi pa pwede yung we sit on a bill and let it languish just because. Just because. And we try to ask ourselves, bakit nangyayari yon? Ilan ng mga panukalang batas ang naipasa na namin sa Senado na hindi pa na-actionan? At nagtatanong kami. O ito na lang, RBH6. We did our part. Nagbitaw kayo ng salita before Holy Week. Now, gusto nyo October? Ba't hindi na lang tayo magtapatan? Are you determined or are you not? We're not dictating on you. But ang aming pananawagan is that we know you are capable. We know you're also determined because this is what you say. So why don't we walk the talk? If there's a will, there's a way. Yung frustration, yung mga bills na ganyan. Tapos, tao lang naman kami mga kongresista. We look back at the times when we took part in your respective campaigns. Noong nag-effort kami mag-organize ng mga political rallies nyo, nakikisabay kayo sa amin. We celebrated your victories. In fact, marami akong naririnig ng mga kongresista, ito nga, nangako sa akin ng itong project, nangako sa akin ng itong programa para sa aking constituents. Lahat ginagawa namin para makisama. Tapos napapako naman yung mga pangako. And you tell us that we cannot feel intensely about things. Kaya yung wording na yan, Take it as it is. The resolution is what it is. It is a sincere expression of how we feel in the House of Representatives. And I do not feel that we should be judged because of the way we feel. Sana, take some time para i-analyze nyo saan kami nanggagaling. Anong hinuhugot namin. Yun lang naman yun eh. You know what? Boss Manix, ako talagang dito sa House of Representatives, natutuwa nga ako his speaker eh. Kasi, you know, he wants to take the higher moral ground. In fact, sabi niya sa amin, I don't want you to engage in any word war because we have to work for the sake of our country. This situation is really uncomfortable is an understatement. It's weird, honestly speaking. Saan ka naman nakakita ng upper house, lower house, nagbabangayan? It all boils down to one thing eh. There is a need to amend the Constitution. The economic provisions in particular. Nagkais na tayo in our Declaration of Intent. So why don't we walk the talk? Yun lang naman. Now, you may choose to sit on it because you have the power to do it, and you can prove your power by sitting on it because it's the process. But the question is not whether you are capable of doing it. The question is it the right thing to do? So I invite our dear senators, and I appeal to their more noble sense of patriotism to seriously consider our resolution of both houses number 6 and start the ball rolling once and for all. They've shown it in the past with other more complicated legislative measures. Why can't they do it now? Nagkataon lang ba na merong bangayan na gaganap? At matatapos din itong bangayan na to eh. People will forget about what we say or what we did. Pero mag-ingat tayo sa pagtrato sa isa't isa because it's difficult to forget how you make us feel. And when you make us feel like we're inferiors and not co-equal, you may say that we are co-equals, but by your actions and pronouncements, parang nabebetre ang sinasabi ninyo. Mawala ng lahat, wag lang yung pakiramdam, di po ba? Matatalino naman po tayong lahat. At you know what? Sabi nga namin wag na tayo walahan, magtapatan na lang po tayo. Kami, klaro, sa lower house, we want constitutional amendments, particularly the economic provisions. Sabi nyo, ganun din kayo. Sana patunayan nyo naman sa taong bayan. Isang tabi na natin tong ating bangayan. Diyos ko, napakababaw lang ito. Although sana, unawain nyo rin kung saan kami nanggagaling. Because we're just being sincere here. And we don't mean anything. We don't mean anything bad. And we don't want this situation to last a long time. Gusto namin magkaayos na tayo para maka-focus na tayo sa aming trabaho. Thank you.
What is your backup plan po in case talagang hindi nila mapagbigyan yung or hindi nila mapanindigan yung first quarter timeline ng RBH6? I guess si Majok po.
No?
What is your backup plan?
Wala na eh.
Hindi nila mapanindigan yung first quarter.
Basta sabihin ko na sa inyo anong mangyayari. In each administration, taon ko yung isang administrasyon, everyone will agree with me in the House of Representatives and even outside na in the second half of any administration, any proposal to amend the Constitution or to update it, wala na po yan. We have seen it all throughout the different administrations. That's why we are in that sense of urgency. Siguro nga, minsan nag-iisip ako, ba't ba tayo gusto parating mabilis magtrabaho? Siguro, you know, in comparison to our friends there, they have the luxury of time because they have 12 years. They have 6 years, kami 3 years lang eh. We have to do the output because the people of the Republic of the Philippines will judge us every 3 years. So kailan may output. We have to help our people. And in this case, the economic provisions that will help our country. Wala kami. We don't have the luxury of time. We have to act fast. We have to hold meetings diligently. We have to work double time to come up with that legislation. Kasi 3 years for every term. Ang bawat member ng House of Representatives, eh sa kanila, 12 years. Ang haba-haba, siguro pwede pa sila matulog. Di ba? 12. Kami, kailangan namin matulong tao kasi husgan kami. Ano bang naipasan yung batas? You will be up for election again and the people will ask us about our output. So hindi kami pwede patulog-tulog dyan. Kailangan kami magtrabaho double time. That's why as I said, the House of Representatives always acts with a sense of urgency. Now, talking about backup plan. Ewan ko, anong backup plan na naman eh. For 37 years, hindi matuloy-tuloy because, let's face it, ito na nga nangyayari. Everybody sees that all proposals to update the 1987 Constitution namamatay po sa Senate. Ganun po. Honest na lang tayo. Although, maski ano-ano nang sinasabi nila sa House, ganun po yung feeling na eh. Whether we transmit to the Senate Constituent Assembly, whether we transmit to the Senate Constitutional Convention, namamatay po sa Senate. Yun yung feeling eh. All proposals die there in the Senate. It gets buried there. And here comes another administration again with another proposal. Anong mangyayari? Sasabihin na naman ng may ibang wala yan. Yan lahat ng proposal nyo, mamamatayan dun sa Senado. So, right now, today, we're very happy that at least napag-usapan, napagdebatean. In fact, this is my challenge now to all senators. Why don't you, 24, come out in the open? Sino ba yung pabor to amend the Constitution, to update the 37-year-old Constitution? Sino yung mga kontra? Para by 2025, this is my challenge to the senators. Come out in the open, wag po tayo magtago. Sabihin natin sa buong Pilipinas, sino yung mga senador pabor to amend, to update the 37-year-old Constitution, at sino yung mga kontra. And the people of the Philippines will decide whom to put in the Senate. Let's come out. Let us not hide, in veils and saying all these words na lumalabas para nag-aaway. Open card tayo sa taong bayan. Open cards tayo. Let's put our proposals transparent to the Filipino people. I strongly urge the senators, come out in the open. Sino yung mga kontra to amend the 37-year-old Constitution? Come out, state your position. Sino yung mga pabor to amend the economic provision? Come out in the open and state your position. Right there, siguro para mas klaro, mas maliwanag sa ating mga taong bayan, sino yung pabor to amend the economic provision, sino yung mga kontra.
Tapatan portion.
At kung ako, last 2 minutes kasi, October filing na yun, di ba? Kung ako ang coach, nakikita ko na yung play, naka full court press sila, tatawag ako timeout, mag-regroup ako. Yun ang pwede ko sabihin sa inyo.
At pangalawa, yung RH number 6, hindi ito madali na ginawa. Nagkaroon kami ng mga provincial consultation dito. Nagkaroon kami ng city consultation. Halos umiikot kami sa iba-ibang lugar, iba-ibang province. Hindi ito basta-basta ginawa dito lamang sa loob ng Kongreso, kundi sa labas. Kaya tama po yung sasabi ni aming majority. Sino ba sa 24 senador na yan ang ayaw? Sino ba sa 24 senador na yan ang may gusto? Pangalawa, masakit po as a party list member dahil yung sinasabi nila na party list lang kayo, district congressman lang kayo. Napakasakit po nun. Unang-una, yung nagsasalita nun, saan ba sila nanggaling? Di ba naging congressman din siya? naging party list din siya. At kami lahat binoboto ng tao. Even kami po ay representante ng party list, nationwide din po ang bumuboto sa amin. Pangalawa, tama po yung sinasabi ni ma'am, ni Congresswoman. Hindi ba, nung kayo'y tumatakbong senador, lumalapit kayo sa mga district congressman, lumalapit kayo sa mga party list members para humingi ng tulong na iboto kayo at ilakad sa aming mga distrito o sa mga party list members organization namin. Ngayon sasabihin ninyo, party list lang kayo, congressman lang kayo. Masakit po sa amin yon. At pangalawa, pupuntiin ko na ang sinabi ng isang senador, si Senator Joel Villanueva, my fraternal brother. Masakit po yung sinasabi nyo. Unang-una, ano ang sinasabi ninyo? Nagkakatraffic sa Forbes Park. Para saan? Dahil yung aming mga chief of staff kumukuha ng form sa People's Initiative. Hindi po totoo yun. Even my chief of staff, hindi ko inutusan na pumunta ng Forbes Park. Kaya sana tapusin na natin ito. Yan po ang hamon ng Kongreso. Sino ba sa 24 senador na yan ang pabor at hindi? At pangalawa, mag-i-eleksyon na naman. Hindi ba kayo hingi ng tulong?
Big Sumintat of the net 25.
Sir, just a follow-up and clarification regarding House Resolution 1562 na na-open niya, ang trapo nila na-open yung mga senador. And I quote the pronouncement of Senate Minority Leader Bilisan that when the resolution was meant to express support for the Speaker, the term intense assault from the Senate was unacceptable. As I understand the title, there are 2 accusations to the Senate or 3: intense assault violating interparliamentary courtesy and interfering in the performance of their constituent functions. It could be easily ignored, but the issue is written in the title. I don't know what the House is after.
It is simply what it is. It is an expression of our sincere sentiments. I'm sorry that we feel this way, but this is how it is. We feel intensely about this. How would you feel if you were in our situation? What if we have press cons and we wear armbands, trying to portray ourselves as the sole defenders of the Constitution at the expense of the lower house? How would you feel if language unbecoming of senators of the Republic is being employed to malign our leader, our speaker? How would you feel if we continuously hear rhetoric that belittles us as representatives? And you say we are co-equals? You say one thing, you do another. Well, we feel intensely. Just take it as it is. And it is also an invitation for you to engage in some sort of introspection. Ganun naman talaga ang sekreto sa magandang pagsasamahan eh. Minsan magpapakumbaba tayo, sabihin natin, oh, kahit sa isang marriage, di ba? Yung husband, bakit kaya ganun si Mrs.? O bakit ganun si Mr.? Bakit ganun ang aking partner? Hindi lang yung iniisip mo, ay nako, wala kang karapat. I'm sorry. Are we not allowed to feel this way? We feel intensely. Ganito kami magtrabaho sa House of Representatives. Intense kami. We mean business. We want to work. We work with a sense of urgency. At syempre na-offer state din kami. Pero sisingitan mo pa nung ganong mga antics na may press con, may prayer rally, parang may religious crusade, para kaming mga kampo ni Satanas. Walang ganunan. Magkaka-partners tayo. Hindi naman po pwede yung magpapapogi points kayo at our expense. Walang ganunan. Because nagkakaisa naman tayo sa ating layunin, which is to serve the Filipinos. Maaari tayong na different ways, but we should respect one another. Kahit nga dito sa RBH6, nagkakaisa tayo. Pero magkaalaman na tayo. Sabi nga ng challenge ni Majority Manix eh, kaalaman na tayo. Be brave enough and courageous enough to say, are you or are you not in favor of amending the economic provisions habang ang ating buong bansa ay nag-iintay for more investors. Alam nyo, itong empathy na rin to, mapapractice nyo rin. It's really common sense. Marami kasi ako narinig ng mga, mga fathers of the Constitution. I respect them. But maybe they're kind of out of touch na rin siguro. And they should listen maybe to the investors. Ikaw nga naman, place yourselves in the position of our investors. Ba't ka nga naman mag-i-invest ng daang-daang milyon, even billion, sa isang bansa, tapos maximum mo lang 40% ng shares? Why would you even do that? When I can go to other countries in the same region na allow me to own my companies. Hindi naman binibenta natin ng ating bansa. Just something to ponder on. It's just so basic. Kasi nangihinayang ko, if we have this golden opportunity, you started the ball rolling and we applaud it. In fact, naniniwala kami, kaya nyo yan. Pero for you to want to sit on it, in October, you know for a fact that it's just actually killing the bill already. Sawang-sawa na kami dyan sa kill the bill na yan. Pati nga ako, yung aking social equality bill, 24 years old na. At pati yung mga LGUs, meron na sila kanilang mga anti-discrimination ordinances. Hindi pa natin mapasa sa national level, but segue lang po yun, ano po. But to show you the kind of mentality and attitude that we do not want to adopt here in Congress. Sabi namin, work with a sense of urgency because the country expects it from us. Thank you.
Gusto ko lang susugan yung kay Congressman Bong at kay Geraldine. Alam, baka hindi natin alam to, no? Yung salary pay grade ng Presidente is 33. Vice President is 32. Ang Chief Justice is 32. Ang Speaker of the House is 32. Ang Senate President is 32. Ang Senate Members of Senate is 31. At ang salary pay grade ng Congressman is 31. So, ibig sabihin, hindi natin pwede i-compara doon. Sa salary grade natin, i-compara, pareho lang tayo. Kaya walang lower house at saka upper house sa Constitution. Majo, if you can add something?
Ang hugot.
Ang masasabi ko lang po is sana pag-usapan po ninyo sa Senado ang bill na ito. Hindi po kami rito nagbasta-bastang ginawa, inaprubahan dito ng 2 linggo. Hindi po. Tulad ng sinasabi ko, member na po ako ng 18th Congress. Umiikot po kami sa buong probinsya, cities at iba-iba para magkaroon ng consultative meeting sa lahat ng mga tao doon sa mga area na yun na nabanggit ko. Kaya please, iisa lang po ang ating hangarin. Ang hangarin po natin, ayusin ang ating bansa. Pagkaisahin, patatagin, palakasin at suportahan ang bagong Pilipinas ng gustong mangyari ng ating Pangulong Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. Yun lang po. Ang hangarin ng Senado ay ayusin, palakasin ang ating bansa. Ang hangarin po ng mga congressman, congresswoman ay palakasin, paluguin, iangat ang ating bansa. Iisa po ang ating interest. May common interest po tayo. Ang common interest po natin ay para sa ating bayan. Magsama-sama tayo. Kung yambol na RX number 6 na yan ay pinakinggan nyo na dati, magkakaroon pa ba ng People's Initiative? Wala na. Kasi hindi nyo kasi tiningnan eh. Hindi nyo inupuan. Please. Natutuwa po kami dahil binuksan nyo na sa Senado. Sana naman pakinggan nyo ang aming hinaing. Mabilisin nyo nang sa ganon, tulad ng ating mga agam-agam, baka umabot pa to ng October, mababaliwala na naman po. Tama po ang sinasabi ni majority namin. Kami po 3 taon lamang, samantalang kayo po ay 6 na taon, may re-election pa kayo ng another 6, 12 taon po kayong nakaupo. Kami 3 taon lang nakakaupo. Pagkatapos ng 3 taon, pag hindi yan pumasa, i-refile na naman namin. Panibagong trabaho, hindi ba kayo naaawa? na pabalik-balik na lang yan. Ang tagal na kung sino-sinong presidente na ang nagsubok niyan para pakialaman at baguhin ang 1987 Constitution natin. Ngayon, buti nga ngayon, walang presidenteng nakikialam. Pero talagang tao ang nakikialam para mabago na ang ating saligang batas.
Well, ako may panawagan lang po sa aking mga kaibigan sa Senado, ano, mga senador, kung pwede po, tigilan na ang itong personal na paninira sa aming speaker. Ayaw na po naming lumalim ito. Ayaw na po naming lumalim itong usaping ito. Tigilan nyo na po ang paninira, ang mga pangit pakinggan na hindi pwedeng gayahin ng susunod na henerasyon. Kaya sa inyong lahat, magtrabaho po tayo ng maayos. Marami po tayong problema. At I've said, ayaw na po naming lumalim ito. Tigilan nyo na po ang paninira sa aming speaker. Salamat po.
Marian, nagtanong tayo.
Follow up lang po sana doon sa kanina regarding sa resolution kasi Senator Amy Marcos said na sinasabi niyo nga po interparliamentary courtesy doon sa resolution pero ina-abolish na yung Senado. Courtesy ba yung pinapatay na ang Senado? I think yung person of
Anong rason niya na ina-abolish namin yung Senado?
I think she's referring to the PI.
PI? Where's the PI? Where's the PI? We're talking of RBH number 6. PI is stock from the COMELEC. Anong inaabot? As I have said and we have said, we are not on our agenda na ina-abolish po namin ang Senado. Ako, actually, RBH number 1, 3 Congress, political ang pinafile ko. Pero wala akong sinasabi na ina-abolish ko ang senador. Actually nga, maganda pa nga yung sitwasyon nila eh. Wala pong ganun, ma'am.
At dagdagan ko lang, Mama. Ang mga pumirma po sa resolution number 6 sa House Bill namin ay may mga kamag-anak sa Senado. Papayag ba silang tanggalin yung kanilang mga kamag-anak sa Senado? Para dyan lamang? Siguro naman hindi. Kaya siguro hindi po totoo yun na para tanggalin namin ang mga senador sa sinusulong natin ito. Kaya ilan ba ang mga may kamag-anak dito sa Kongreso? 7. Kaya hindi po. Negative po yung mga sinasabi.
Rosalie of UNDP.
Good afternoon po. Both senators and congressmen are appealing for unity amidst these issues. Pero po nagpapatuloy pa rin po yung pagpapalitan at pananalita po ng mga miyembro ng dalawang kapulungan ng Kongreso sa isa't isa. Some members or some critics of the PBBM administration say this is the new face of bagong Pilipinas. Ang bagayan sa pagitan po ng Senado at Kamara. How do you react to this point?
Well, ito lang masasabi namin. We didn't start it. And we have no intention of prolonging this. If you take affront by our mere expression of our sincere sentiments, I think we should be mature enough. At sabi ko nga, this is an opportunity for some sort of introspection. Any kind of sincerity on both sides should be appreciated. Kasi nga, ang uusap ng tapat, nagsasama ng maluwag. At we are fully aware that this is an irregular situation. And this is detrimental to our country. I'm so sorry, but it's happening. But we're not taking active steps to prolong it. In fact, we're just reacting to things that have been initiated by the Senate. So I don't want to point fingers at anyone, and really that's kind of an immature attitude. We want to be constructive, and we look forward to the time when we will set aside all of these differences. But for that to happen, friendly reminder for respect, empathy, humility, and of course, above all, it is not just about the show of power, what we can do, what the system allows us to do, but rather a sense of loyalty to the country and doing the things that have to be done. So yun po ang aming pananawagan.
Senator Jinggoy Estrada proposed to have a meeting between the Senate President
Ay, magandang idea yan. Majority Manix.
Alam mo, ako pwede ko sagutin yan kasi actually, not only end times to meet the leader of both houses, parang budo lang nangyayari di ba? Kaya ilang beses na po yan.
So do you think the president should be jailed?
I think it's very clear the House is open to any form of dialogue. We are all civilized and educated people, and we share so many common goals. So rather than focus on our differences, we would like to focus on the things that bind us together. And this is love of our country. And of course, the recognition of the need to amend the economic provisions of the Constitution. Sabi nga namin, there is nothing intrinsically wrong about amending the Constitution. If it were intrinsically wrong, the Constitution itself would not have provided means for this to happen. 3 formulas pa nga ang pinasuggest ng Constitution na nakastipulate sa Constitution. So, really, at this point in time, there is no need to demonize constitutional reform. We should be courageous and mature enough to recognize this and set aside all personal considerations, no? Wag na natin pairalin yung mga pride at pataasan ng ihi. Tabi na yan yung mga, I don't know, kung may mga hidden agenda, tabi na yan. Basta, focus na po tayo sa trabaho at umaasa po kami sa mababang kapulungan na merong kakayahan ng ating mga senador. At naniniwala rin po kami sa sinseridad ni SP Mig Subiri. Nung sinabi niya, kaya namin yan by Holy Week. If there is a will, there is a way.
No, knowing Speaker Ferdinand Martin Romualdez, Speaker would always be that person who will extend that hand of friendship. No doubt. Kung gusto ng Senado, ng Senate President to meet with the Speaker of the House, the Speaker would always be willing. In fact, I know this for a fact, the Speaker, for a couple of times, exerted effort to update with our counterparts in the Senate. Hindi po, it's known to everyone here in the House na we would always want to follow up ano namang nangyayari. Because if we backtrack, even last year, we would always follow up with the Senate counterparts. Ano naman nangyari sa final namin na RBH6? We filed that with 302 authors last March, last year. Walang nangyayari. So kung ang pag-uusapan natin na ay makikipagpulong ba yung ang House of Representatives with the Senate, but why not? Of course. But let's treat everything with a sense of urgency kasi we're running against time. As I said again, lahat po nagsasabi on the second half of any administration, patay na po yung proposal. So, palapit na po yung October. Anong mangyayari? Mamamatay na rin ba yung proposal in the Senate? As just what happened in the past, that all of these proposals to update the Constitution namamatay sa Senado. Sana po in this administration, hindi po yun mangyari.
First off, I'd like to ask na po, kasi ang dami po, well, yung sinabi niyo po SDS nung Friday na wala daw pong nangyayaring on-the-ground signature campaign dun sa isang statement niyo. Tinanong po kayo ni Senator Gatchalian sa isang reply sa aking tweet, sinabi, that's not what I heard from the ground. Ano po yung inyong comment doon sa sinabi ni Senator Gatchalian na hindi raw na parang pinapamukha po kayo parang sinungaling sa statement niyo po last Friday?
Alam mo, Senator Gatchalian?
Yes po.
Senator Gatchalian, wala po ako. Nasa abroad po ako ng holiday from December 25 to January 13. Wala po ako nakitang pumirma. So, pagdating ko, pinag-uusapan na po yung PI na yan. Kaya, hindi ko po alam kung paano nangyari yung sinasabi niya.
Second question po from my end. Kasi po, sinasabi po ng ilang mga senators po na Senator Escudero said na the President should rein in House Speaker Ferdinand Martin Romualdez from pushing the People's Initiative While sinabi rin po ni Senator Angara na bakit hindi na lang ituloy yung plebiscite ng PI or ng plebiscite ng China sa 2025 isabay daw sa election. What are your thoughts about this?
Plebiscite ng?
Plebiscite daw po nung
For that.
Plebiscite sa election ng local at national.
Isabay daw po ito sa 2025 elections daw po. Sabi ni Senator Angara.
Mapupolitika ka nga eh. Ngayon nga, napupolitika na eh.
We don't
Diba?
want that.
So, if, ako, ito yung pananaw ko dyan. We would like our voters, the voters of this country, decide on a matter na yun lang ang pag-iisipan nila. Yes or no lang naman yung tanong doon. Ayaw natin ihalo yan sa isang eleksyon na, you know, you have candidates for national position, candidates in local election, and you have different groups trying to get elected. Siyempre, mapupolitika eh. We would like to separate it. Separate that very important issue, present it to our voters without any distraction of any body running in an election. Kasi magugulo eh. So, mas maganda, ito yung proposal namin, i-present po natin itong amendments, anong mga updates to the 37-year-old Constitution, in a referendum, wala nang ibang iniisip ang tao, yun lang. Focus, baka sasabihin na naman nila, mali na, may magsasabi, baka hindi na naman, baka may nangloloko na naman sa to. So, we'll do one single thing by presenting it to our people in a referendum with only one topic. Yun lang ang pag-isipan ng botante, hindi yung nag-iisip pa siya sino yung mayor niya, sino yung councilor niya, nagbabakbakan doon sa municipality nila. Ang daming iisipin ng tao. So, mas maganda to really get, you know, that voice of the people in a referendum. Let's separate it. Let's separate the topic. Huwag natin ihalo in a regular midterm election. Para at least, mas maganda, di ba? Before the referendum, those in favor of amending the economic provisions and those against in amending the economic provisions can have a healthy debate. Mapag-usapan. No? Actually, ako nga ngayon, masaya ako. At least napag-usapan na ngayon. Maski sabi nung iba, may bangay. At least we are now starting to have that discussion which we never had in the past. Namatay lang po. 37 years. Going back, nasaan na? Nahuli na po tayo sa ating mga Southeast Asian countries, sa mga Asian countries. So at least, this seemingly heated debate and argument between the House of Representatives and the Senate is now bringing that point of discussion na kailangan pag-usapan talaga. Hindi naman pwede patulogin, mamamatay na naman dun sa Senado. At least we're very happy na at least napag-usapan. Diba? Medyo, ang sabi nga niba, medyo mainit, pero at least napag-usapan man lang para at yung taong bayan ngayon nag-iisip, ano ba yung pinag-uusapan nilang economic provision? Diba? Ano ba yung pinag-uusapan? Ano ba yung pinag-aawayan nilang economic provision? At least ngayon, sa mga tao na may recall na sila, uy, economic provision, sige, pakinggan nga natin. Ano yung maganda o pangit ba dyan sa mga economic provision na sabi niya, nag-aaway-aaway na daw yung mga senador at congress. But let's bring it to discussion. Kasi we have been waiting for this 37 years. At least ngayon, pinag-uusapan na. In fact, my challenge is, dito sa House, klaro po ang boto namin. We have already been transparent of stating our position. Sino-sinong mga congressman ang pabor to amend the economic provision of the 1987 Constitution. Ngayon, ang tanong, doon din sa Senate, yeah? They should also come out in the open. Sino-sino sa 24 senators ang pabor to amend the economic provision at sino-sino yung mga kontra to amend the economic provision of the 37-year-old Constitution.
On the question po of reining in the Speaker, sabi po ni Senator Escudero, sabi daw po niya, the President should rein in the Speaker.
Wala namang
Ano yun?
alam mo, maybe, and not, dito kasi sa House, not only one person controls everybody eh. We are
309.
we are 300 plus different political blocks, and with regards to PI, hindi yung mga congressman eh. These are petitioners of different organizations na nagsasalita rin eh. How can we rein in on other people's organization from talking? In fact, we are happy. Alam mo, masaya kami pag pinag-uusapan. At, the discussion about amending the economic provision is being deliberated. Let's bring it to a higher level instead of trying to say na may kasalanan diyan itong tao. Let's bring it. Let's come up in the open. Those who are in favor, those who are against, present it to the Filipino people in a separate referendum, separate from the midterm election, and let the people decide. Ang tao po, ang final decision in everything that we'll be doing here.
I don't think it is the duty of the President to rein in the House Speaker. We are independent branches of government. The Speaker is not a puppet of the President. Yun lang.
Okay, due to, you have more to say, Manjo?
Ako, pwede?
Ano?
Kahapon kasi lahat halos lumapit yung mga congressmen sa akin kasi tinatanong nila yung mga local bills nila. So, I'm trying to calling again the attention of our dear senators. Kung pwede po, kanino naka-refer yung mga local bills namin, paki-inform lang po yung bawat mambabatas para may report po namin sa ating mga kababayan. Kasi maraming batas na kailangan dapat dinggin na hindi pa po na-approve. That's why we are going to return again next Congress. We will apply Section 28. So kung pwede po, nananawagan po ako, kung ilan po yung mga house bills o local bills na nasa sa inyo, kung pwede po sulatan niyo po kami kung ano po problema, kung ano ang status, para alam po namin ang ibabalita sa aming mga constituents. Salamat po.
Due to time constraint, we can only accommodate the state president. Make it short and simple. Huwag na repetitive. Earl from IBC 13, Gab from Empire Online, and then Tina Panganiban from Bilisan.
So, our Honorable Congressman, Earl Tobias, IBC 13. Sir, malinaw na even if this is just a seemingly heated debate, Speaker also expressed na ito nga po ay isang simbolo ng working democracy. It's because both houses are expressing what they really want and what's their message on this matter. Meron pong call ng Congress sa Senado at malinaw na po yun kung anong mga dapat aksyon na dapat gawin. But there's also the anxious public, the Filipino people po na sinasabi nga ho natin, tayo ang kinatawan ng ating sambayan ng Pilipino. How do we address to them, this topic po na medyo mahirap maintindihan, specifically on grassroots communities kung wala po silang ganung ka-access sa kung anong meron din po tayo ngayon. Kasi hindi naman po ganun kadaling maintindihan yung ganitong topic eh. On the surface, ang nakikita nila, nagbabangayan lang ang dalawang kapulungan. Pero sinasabi nga po natin na tayo nagtatrabaho towards a progress. How do we address the Filipino people?
Well, if you want to address the Filipino people, wag nila itigil yung mga people's organization na nag-e-explain sa mga probinsya at mga munisipyo. Diba? They are there. There are a lot of videos going around that there are groups trying to explain to the people. Diba? So, I think, allow everybody to discuss it. Kasi para maintindihan ng tao.
Okay, Gab Lago.
Sir, do you think this is the spot between the Senate and the House? Is it a big misunderstanding? Kasi yung abolishment ng Senate, nire-refer yata nila doon sa PI provision na joint voting. And in fact, hindi na sinasabi ng House na hindi naman sila yung behind the proposed initiative. Do you think it's just a massive misunderstanding between the two houses?
I don't see anything. Okay, for the sake of discussion, ano nakalagay doon na i-abolish na sila? It all speaks that both houses should vote jointly. So paano sila na-abolish doon? Siguro, maybe the proponents, sino yun? Yung pirma,
Na-frustrate.
has been frustrated for decades that they want to fast-track things in updating the Constitution. So, you cannot fault groups na naghihintay, walang nangyayari sa House and Senate in updating the Constitution. Kasi, as I said, all of these proposals in amending the Constitution, in updating the Constitution, namamatay po sa Senado. So, gusto siguro ng mga ibang people's organization to expedite things, to make it faster because of what is happening in the global economy. Naiiwan po tayo. So, kailangan, ganun na po. Ganyan na.
Last question.
Okay, last question. Parigat, FEBC.
Eddie Galvez from FEBC Network. Sir, doon sa threat, alleged threat dito sa House na nagko-connect doon sa ibang congressman na meron daw natagkap. Kaya kahapon po nag-higpit po ang security. Meron po bang connection ito doon sa bangayan ng both houses?
Alam niyo po, sagutin ko yan, no? I am a member of 14th Congress. Alam niyo yun, di ba? In 2007, nung pinasabog na Granada, yung isang sa South Wing, in, I think, 2 minutes, palabas na rin ako from Sound Clouds, na may pumutok na malakas. Yung pala, bomba, di ba? Namatay si Congressman Akbar. Number 2, si Pride Teves. Alam mo, parang akala ko mamamatay na din. Marami pang ibang nasugatan. So yung mga ganyang threat, binibigyan naming pansin. Kasi lahat, pagyanig lang, yung earthquake, talagang very alert kami sa mga yan. So kami po, talagang yung panawagan na yon, wala pong koneksyon dito sa pinag-uusapan na to. Talagang yung ating mga staff sa House of Representatives, they're doing their job.
Sir, may sinasabi may nakatanggap daw ng message ang congressman. Sino po?
Wala po ako.
We cannot divulge.
Kasi po, sinabi rin po ni Secretary na meron nakatanggap ng message ang congressman bukod po kay Speaker. Pwera po si Speaker. Yun po ang sabi ng message ni Secretary.
Hindi po namin alam kung...
Siguro si Sec Gen na lang.
Sir, is there anyone on the panel who received threats recently?
Ako, not me, definitely. Sa awa ng Diyos. Kayo ba? Wala rin siya. SDS
Kami
kayo
po,
ba?
wala po kami natanggap.
Hindi, sa amin naman, yung sa mga pan naman yan eh. Sa mga, sa probinsya-probinsya. Alam mo naman, we're
Local.
from Mindanao.
So sir, meron ka po?
Which one?
Meron po kayong threat?
In the past, yeah. If I, not at present, ito yung pangyayari. Hindi ngayon. Not what was mentioned by Secgen, not this one.
But despite of there is a threat, there are 288 members of the House of Representatives who also signify and sign to the resolution of 1562.
Kasama na po sa trabaho yun.
So yung threat po siguro, ako wala po ko tatanggap. Pero nakita niyo po yung mga members kahapon. Ang dami po namin sa plenary.
So sir, hindi connected dito sa
Wala.
Delegate.
Wala. Wala.
We cannot comment. Hindi namin alam.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Maraming salamat po. Maraming salamat. Aming.
Uwi mo po ba si GF? Ha? Uwi mo po ba si GF?